Hello, I'm doing my first sit down video in like 2 months, which is exciting. I need to ease back into things, so I'm doing another Q&A. This time it's Instagram themed because during I'm wearing jeans that are a bit too tight for me and it's actually restricting my breathing slightly. I got people to ask me questions on, you guessed it, Instagram. Okay, so the first thing that someone asked is, how long does it usually take for you to take/edit a sponsored post? It completely depends. How I get my sponsored posts are either the brand will contact me via email and they've actually reached out to me and they want to work with me, and they'll say, we want you to take a photo of this and we'll pay you this much. And for those ones, the fee is usually reasonable. So I've got 5,000 Instagram followers. If a brand approaches me, generally it's for like 150 to £300, and that's only happened a handful of times. Because they're actually paying me like a reasonable amount, I will put more effort into the post itself. So in that case, I'll put an example on screen. So this is when I worked with Flora to post about the campaign on Twitter and to do this. They paid me £250. I love Flora as a brand. Obviously it's butter, like it's not like my favourite brand in the whole world. They recently changed all their products vegan, so like I'm so ready to shout about how much I love them. And they reached out to me, £250. So I put effort into this picture because I could tell they respected and appreciated me enough to pay me a good amount of money. So obviously we had to buy all of the food, cook it, make it all look good, then make the photo look good and edit it and write a good caption. So that in total took me like the best part of a day. And then the other way I get sponsored posts is through an app called Tribe, where I'm aware the question wasn't how I get sponsored posts, but I might as well kill two birds with one stone. The other way I get sponsored posts is through an app called Tribe, where you basically, the brand will put the brief online on the app and you create the content and submit it and give them your fee, and they can either accept it or reject it. And it's pretty much 50-50. I would say actually probably more than half my posts have been rejected, which is why I don't really use this app anymore, because you're buying the product and putting the effort in and you might not even get the sponsored content. I have got quite a lot of good partnerships through this. This is how I worked with Graze, Pampers, Deliveroo. I got through this one. So I've worked with some really great brands that I love. For some reason, I don't know what it is about this app, because these brands might pay well if they reach out to you directly, I don't know, but through Tribe they pay very poorly. So for pretty much every campaign, in fact I've never been paid more than £100 through Tribe, and for one of the ads I've done I got paid 50. Generally I get paid about 70, but because of that, because I'm only getting paid £70, I do put less effort in. So it will be like just a picture of Remy holding the nappies. I don't put as much effort in because I'm not getting as much back, if that makes sense. So that's basically how it works. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Basically it depends on what they're paying me. So something that loads of people asked when I asked for questions for this video, I was like, oh, they can be about anything. They can be about sponsored posts or themes or pods, and so many people responded and were like, what the fuck is a pod? So I'm just going to quickly explain that, because I do want to talk about my opinion on pods for a quick minute. A pod is basically a group chat on Instagram where you all like or comment on each other's pictures. So every time you have a new picture, you post it in the group chat and everyone else in the group chat likes it and comments. So it's basically to boost your engagement, obviously. A lot of people see it as fake engagement, and I do as well, if I'm completely honest. So you can probably get pods that have like hundreds and hundreds of people in. I would never be part of one of them, because that means you're getting hundreds of likes or hundreds of comments that just aren't authentic, and that is fraud, I guess. A year ago I started a blog, and that's when I started taking Instagram a bit more seriously, and so I wanted to get comments, because I noticed the more comments someone gets, the more other people then comment, and that did actually happen. So I joined a pod, it only had like 10-15 people in, but because those girls were commenting on my pictures, then the rest of my audience then started commenting. I don't know why, I don't know like what's behind that, but it worked. But after a while I realised the girls I was in this pod with, I didn't actually enjoy their content, and I was commenting on their pictures every day, and it was very fake, and I was like, if I don't enjoy their content, they probably don't like mine. So I left that pod and I didn't have one for a few months. Now I'm in 2 pods. One is a Sheffield bloggers group chat, so it's not really a pod, like we're not obliged to like or comment each other's pictures, but it's sort of a supportive group chat for local bloggers. We can tell each other about local events and stuff, but also we tend to support each other's content because we actually like it and we actually all like each other and we're all friends now, so that's really nice. And because for me it's more like if they like my content as soon as it's up, then because of the Instagram algorithm, if it gets engagement as soon as you post it, more of your audience will see it. So for me it's never been about wanting, for example, brands to be like, wow, she has 10,000 likes or something like that. It's literally a case of me just wanting to beat the algorithm and wanting my own audience to see my content. So because of that, that's why I have been a part of a few pods in the past. I've never been part of any kind of like follow for follow thing, like all my followers are authentic. But yeah, so I'm part of a Sheffield bloggers one, and then I'm part of a like pod, but there's like 15 people in that pod, so only 15 of my likes on each photo come from that pod. I thought I'd just be like, just let it all out, be very honest with you. It's not something I'm ashamed of because like I said, it's only 15 likes, it's not like it's 100 or 200. I think there's good and bad in Instagram pods. I think they can be very inauthentic and fake and all of those things if there's loads of people in them, but I do think if you're in a really small group of 20 people or less, it's not really going to be fake. How has having Remi affected how you use Instagram in terms of your content and engagement? Massively. So here is a screenshot of my feed before I had Remi, and here is my feed now. I don't know where I'm going to put them on the screen. Before I had Remi, even though I've been doing YouTube for 3 or 4 years, I was never a blogger until I had Remi, and that only started when he was about 10 months old, that I started using Instagram in that way. And now I think it's finally actually reflective of my life. Like that's why I enjoy Instagram so much more now, because it's such a good mix of like me, Danny, Remi, food, scenery, I guess, like restaurants, what we're up to, like where we've been. And I think I enjoy going through my Instagram a lot more now because it's just like a visual diary of what we've been up to. I update it every day because it's so much easier to post on Instagram than it is to upload a video or write a blog. And so because of that, I post on it pretty much every day. Yeah, I really like looking back at it. I feel like it represents me really well. I think in a way it's a little bit more staged. Like I think I'm less likely to quickly take a selfie and then put that on Instagram. Like now it's a bit more like I'll get Danny to take a photo of me instead, or like instead of taking a picture of Remi on my phone, because I've got this shitty phone, iPhone 5 or something, I'll get Danny to take it on his phone, or I'll take it on my camera or something like that, because I want the quality to be good. So I think I care more about Instagram now and I put more effort into it, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Like I know some people would see it as a negative that like I care that much, but yeah, I think I'm proud of Instagram a bit more now, which maybe sounds silly, but yeah. In a similar realm, how are you finding doing Instagram as a job for work and also as an influencer? I'd go mad. Yeah, I'm going a bit mad. So I've been at my job for 6 or 7 weeks now, and for the first month or so I think I did become quite consumed by it, and then I basically had a conversation with Danny where he was like, what did he, I think he basically said like he doesn't think I suit to be on social media all the time because of my personality, but because I love it so much I'm basically trying to combat that. So I think I do get a bit addicted to statistics, which is obviously dangerous as an influencer because it means I'm like, why isn't this photo done well? But then equally I did start doing that with work. Like I started obsessing over why a post hadn't done well or what I could do better. And obviously the difference is with work, it is important because if a post flops then the next post flops. And for a bit of context, I work for a brand called Grassfields and they have over 500,000 Instagram followers, and I am the only person who posts on the Instagram. So my job isn't just Instagram, my job spans through manage their blog, so I write all the blog posts. I also manage influencer marketing, and then obviously I manage the social media platforms, so that's Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook. The main platform is Instagram because they are an Instagram clothing brand, a bit like Pretty Little Thing and stuff like that, but like the African version, I guess. So because I went into it and they already had so many followers, like 500,000 followers is insane, like that is so many, but it's because they're an online only brand, so they don't have any physical shops. So it's incredibly important that their content does well because that's the only way people are going to find out about them. I do think since working there I've gotten a bit more chilled out on my personal Instagram. Like I'm sort of like, if a post doesn't do well, it doesn't do well. But I think that's because Instagram as in my Instagram, is no longer my main job. Like for a while that was my main source of income, which is super difficult when you've only got 5,000 followers to like earn that much off it. So I think I obsessed about even my non-sponsored posts. I obsessed about them because I was like, well, if it doesn't do well, then brands aren't going to want to work with me, and if brands can't work with me, I can't earn any money, and it stressed me out so much. Whereas now that I've got a proper job, like I'm doing grass fields, my own personal stuff doesn't need to do as well. I don't rely on it as much. So in a way that's actually helped me. But yeah, I think with the work Instagram, I just sort of needed to take a step back and be like, if a post flops, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to post again in like 3 hours and I'll smash it, it's fine. I basically have to force myself not to let it consume me, because it very easily could. I want to start a book/film review Instagram. Any tips on how to build a niche audience? Hashtags. I would say hashtags are the way, because not only do hashtags help people find you and what you're doing, but it helps you find other people within your little niche community. So I don't have examples because I'm not really part of like the book/film review Instagram thing, but you can find some. Like, just start exploring. If you find like another account that does what you do, look at the hashtags they use and then go through that, and you can find other people that are doing what you do and you can engage with them. When I lived in Leeds, I followed the Leeds bloggers tag, and that's how I made like my friends there. I've done the same in Nottingham, except I've not really made friends here yet. I basically just followed every Nottingham blogger, and most of them haven't followed me back, so then I've gone, oh, they don't want to be friends with me. Never mind then. But yeah, I think that's the best way of finding people, basically. Even, I don't know, probably hashtag like book bloggers, and bet you can find loads of people. I don't know what just happened there, my camera just gave up basically. Do you think it is a good idea to remove likes from Instagram? This is an interesting one. I could do a whole video about this, but in short, yes, it probably is a good idea, because I think everyone obsesses over it a lot, including myself. I have definitely been there, and I think for a selfish reason, the only reason I don't want it to happen is because I have really good engagement, and that is the only way I really get work on Instagram, because like I said, I've got a low follow account. Because my engagement is so high, I get opportunities that would usually be given to people with more followers than what I've got. So I don't want people to go back to just basing everything off follow account. So really I'd like to not have the likes removed, preferably. But in the grand scheme of things, what I care about doesn't really matter, and I think it is a good idea to get rid of them. It would help us stop obsessing. There are so many people, I think, who was it that her Instagram name is Perks of Being Amy, and she's a photographer, but for the past few months most of her pictures have had her in, like, because I think she's a blogger as well. She posted the other day saying how she much prefers to just take photos of things. Like, she'd rather take a photo of a beautiful cafe instead of her in the cafe, but because Instagram and audiences favour photos of us, she changed that and started putting herself in the pictures, and then like recently realised she didn't actually want to do that. And it's things like that where I'm like, if we didn't see the amount of likes that posts were getting, people would be making what they wanted to make, and that in itself is just, how can I not want that to happen? Do you know what I mean? How do you feel about sharing your child online? I think someone else said this as well. Yeah, and then someone else said, how do you know how much of Remy to show? I don't at all. Oh fuck, my camera's gonna die. I don't know how much to show at all, and before Remy was born, we actually said we were going to show a lot less of him than I have been doing. He ended up being so cute and we didn't expect it, and I was like, the world has to see. Realistically, I do need to limit how much I'm showing of him these days. I think especially once he gets to the age of, he's 18 months now, I think once he gets to about 2.5 or 3, I'll know when I get there, but I do think once he can talk a lot more and he's more of a person, and especially once he goes to school, I'm pretty much not going to show him at all, I don't think, or just show like the back of his head and stuff, because obviously it can be dangerous. I know there are like massive influencers with millions of followers that show their kids, but we don't know how safe it is. We don't know the effects it has on their mental health. Like, we don't really know anything because we're the first generation to be doing this. So because of that, it's like, obviously Remy is more important to me than anything, even Instagram clout. So yeah, I think I'm definitely going to start minimizing it. I already have, like, even a year ago when he was a baby, my Instagram was literally just pictures of him, and now he's sort of just mixed in there amongst like family photos of me and Danny and stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to slowly start reducing that and make my Instagram and my online presence more about me again rather than all about him. And obviously he's part of my life, so he'll be part of that, but it's less about Remy, soz, because I know you all love the photos, but yeah, I just think it's probably not how it should be. Oh my god, my camera's flashing, I need to hurry. Who are your favourite Instagrams to follow? Bollocks, okay, I can't remember. I'll put some of my favourite accounts in the description because I can't think of any right now. What do you use to edit / how to organise pictures to be aesthetically pleasing? So some of my favourite apps, no, okay, I used to use Lightroom, and by used to I mean up until about 2 weeks ago, and I used Ebony Day's preset on there, and it's because I used to see her pictures in my feed and I just felt like they all, it was very cohesive. Like you look at her feed and you can tell it's all the same filter, or like similar filters, presets, whatever you want to call them, and they all looked so good together. Like it looks nice when you scroll through her feed. And then she released the presets for sale and I was like, oh my god, amazing, I can have a feed that all looks the same. So I bought them straight away and I used them for a few weeks. You can see what my feed looked like here when I was using them. But I didn't like my photos really. Like every time I'd edit the photo, I didn't really like it, but I knew that it would kind of suit the overall theme. Even then it didn't. I don't know what it is about her pictures or my pictures, because we use like the same equipment and stuff, but it might also be the fact that I am brown, so in general her filters weren't going to work the same for me as it does for them, because she uses hers so that they all look quite like orange and tanned. Sorry, my camera died, so I will be quick. Recently I've gone back to using VSCO, VSCO, whatever you want to call it, which is like the old school Instagram editing app. It's what I used to use and I did really like it. It's just I think there's just like less you can do on it, but yeah, there's just this one filter I use, I think it's called C7, just a lot more colourful and vibrant. And I think before I was doing that typical mummy blogger thing, like every mum blogger on Instagram has like a really bright white pale pastel feed, and I was trying to do that and it obviously just really didn't suit us, and it didn't suit like any, I don't know why I was doing it. So yeah, I've changed it back now and I like it a lot more now. I think it like suits us a lot more. So yeah, that's what I'm using to edit. And then I plan out my feed using Unum, which is like UNUM, and you can basically just like move your posts around to see what they would look like once you publish them, like what your feed would look like. I'm not going to answer any more questions because I think this video is going to be super long as it is. Thank you so much for watching, and follow my Instagram if you haven't already, because like I said, I use that a lot more. I'll link Danny's Instagram and like our vegan Instagram and everything below as well. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already, all that stuff. Thanks, bye.